Buddy, what if your 50s aren't just the end of your career, but the beginning of your freedom? Here are 8 strategies to turn decades of experience into a life of abundance starting now. And we know you can do it. Hello, everyone. Back for another episode. Today, we're going to talk about kind of 8 strategies to get out of that 9-to-5 type grind, the rat race, and escape while you're in your 50s. I'm starting to believe that a man in his 50s is probably the best decade that he could be in. He's still young enough to do young people type stuff, and he should have finished up with all his responsibilities. If you're a parent and you had a family, you should be finished up or close to finishing up those responsibilities. Plus, you should have accumulated enough wealth to generate some options for yourself in life. And I'm starting to believe that once you get into your 60s and 70s, your quality of life is going to start declining. You're not going to be able to do those fun things that young people can do. So this is the decade to do it. Not sure spending most of your time in a corporate office or whatever, waiting for that 60 or 65 year age to come is your best option. But we're going to go through some points here and see where that takes us. So I'll just load up my PowerPoint here. All right. 8 escape routes for the 50-something professional from the rat race to life of abundance. All right, segment 1, geographic arbitrage. Okay, the concept. Geographic arbitrage means earning a strong currency, whether dollars or euros, depending on where you live in the world, right, or where you choose to live, while living somewhere with lower purchasing powers, lower purchasing powers. Your money stretches 2 to 3 times further without sacrificing your quality of life. In fact, sometimes maybe it increases it. Why it works at 50. You likely have no kids in school. You're not climbing the corporate ladder that requires FaceTime, meaning you don't have to go into an office. And you may be an empty nester. Kids are gone. It's time to carry on your life, live like you did prior to kids, except you're not trying to build that professional. It's already built. This is the perfect mobility window. The mechanics, the half price move. Places like Portugal, Mexico, Malaysia, Thailand, or Colombia. Say a $4,000 a month apartment in Austin becomes a beachfront condo in Playa del Carmen for $1,200. $200 dinner becomes $40. Just cheaper cost of living, right? Stretch your dollars out, meaning you don't need to generate as much income to sustain a decent quality of life. The tax play. Establish residency in a non-income state. Non-income state tax. Let me redo that. Establish residency in a non-income tax state. It's like Florida, Texas, Nevada, before leaving. Well, this is for the states. This doesn't apply to Canada. But these are for examples, right? Some countries, Portugal, Greece, Italy, offer flat tax schemes or retirement visas for those with passive incomes. There's actually lots of places that have the retirement type visa. You can go research all that stuff. It's all on the internet. I'm not going to load it up here because there's too much to do, and it'd be like a personal preference thing anyway. But that is definitely an option. The visa reality. At 50, you qualify for retirement visas in many countries. Thailand's OA visa, Malaysia's MM2H program, Mexico's temporary resident visa. These often require showing $1,000 to $2,000 per month in passive income or a lump sum in the bank. So if you got that lump sum in the bank, or you have like pensions coming in, etc., you probably easily qualify for these type of visas. The transition. Don't sell everything immediately. Do a 3-month test drive. Rent a house or Airbnb while you're gone. If it pays for your life abroad, you know the math works. Yeah, so test it out. Pick a couple spots, go try it out for a couple months, and then make your decision. Or you could make that part of your your plan to, over the next year, we're going to go to 4 different countries and see which one you like the best. The catch. Healthcare is cheaper but different. You'll need international health insurance. Cigna, GeoBlue, or local private care. Often excellent and a fifth of the price. Also, you're leaving your social network. This works best if you're comfortable building new communities or maintaining long distance relationships. So being personal and approachable and nice person and outgoing, a good way to start building your communities and your out of country network type thing. Segment 2, experience monetization, fractional expertise monetization, fractional executive work. The concept: stop being an employee, become a vendor. Package your 25 years of industrial knowledge into high-ticket advisory work, consulting or fractional executive roles, fractional CFO, CMO, COO. Okay, so that's very, very high level type positions. But you can do it with pretty much anything. You can consult, you can contract. You can sell yourself out. You could take part-time work, for example, in your profession. Set yourself a time frame, 3-4 months max, and then do what you want with the time. Maybe you can do that to keep a social connection, but keep yourself not as committed to employment as you'd like, because we're trying to break away from that, right? Okay, why it works at 50. You have pattern recognition. The 30 years old charge $50 an hour to research. You know where bodies are buried, what mistakes to avoid, and how industries actually work. So you know how to navigate the system. The mechanics, the math. $150,000 salary requires 2,000 hours of work, roughly $75 an hour. As a consultant, charging $300 an hour, you just need 500 hours, or about 10 hours a week, to match that income. Charge $500 an hour, and you work 6 hours a week. See, the only trap I see with that is, like, with that kind of hourly wage, you might get stuck in that trap of wanting to make more money. Depends how you feel, I guess. But if you keep your mindset, like, because your hourly wage is so high now, and then you can work less hours and still live a comfortable life, that's probably the best way to do it. The fractional model. Startups and mid-market companies can't afford a full-time C-level executive, but need the expertise. They'll pay $8,000 to $15,000 a month for 1 to 2 days a week of your time. Stack 2 of these clients, and you're at $20,000 a month, working part-time. Again, another contracting, consulting type gig. Finding clients. Don't cold call. Warm call everybody you worked with for 20 years is now a potential client or referral source. LinkedIn is your billboard. Post sign-ins, not resumes. So it's just the colleagues and the peers that you've met throughout your career. That's your network. Put out to them what you're doing, what your service is, what you're offering, and word of mouth will spread. If there's a demand for what you got, you should pick up some work. Transition. Start consulting on the side while employed. Get your first client. Prove the model, then leap when you have 3 to 4 months of consulting revenue banked. The catch. You eat what you kill. No paycheck if you don't sell. You need 6 months of expenses saved and the stomach for a regular cash flow. Also, you're not responsible for your own taxes, quarterly estimated payments, and benefits. Oh, you are now responsible for your own taxes. Correction. Yeah, make sure you have that buffer. 3 to 6 months for business expenses so the business can survive and you can survive as well. I know a lot of consultants or contractors that I've heard of, they don't get paid for 3 months. Like they're consulting or contracting to a company and they get paid once a quarter, not every 2 weeks. Different mindset from being an employee versus running your own show. So it just takes some preparation. Make sure the company's got enough to run for 3 to 6 months. Should be good. And it should smooth out that irregular paycheck stuff. Give yourself a bit of a buffer. Oh, what's going on here? Oh no. What happened? Segment 4, I guess. I don't know where segment 3 is. Darn. Okay. The concept. It's Coast Fire semi-retirement. Coast Fire means you've saved enough that you don't need to contribute another dollar to retirement accounts. Compound interest will get you to your number by 65, 70. You only need to cover current living expenses. Why it works. At 50, if you've been saving even moderately since your 30s, you might be already at Coast Fire and not know it. And by your 50s, you should actually be there. Like you should have enough in the retirement accounts or whatever accounts. You should have enough wealth at that point where you can just set it and forget it. And then as time goes by, you'll be able to utilize those assets and resources and flip fully into retirement or whatever. At that point, you might just be fully retired, just doing what you want to do. And it's paying you, right? The math. If you have 600,000 invested at 50, growing at 7% annually, and that's 1.65 million by the age 65 without adding a penny. If you need 60,000 a year in retirement, 4% rule, you need 1.5 million. You're already 40% there, and time will do the rest. This means you can take a job paying 40,000 a year, covering current bills, and your future is still secure. Yeah, so your nest egg is secure as long as you don't dip into it, and it'll continue to grow until you need it. You need to start melting down, need to cash it out. That frees you up to pick and choose your jobs just to cover your current bills. You shouldn't have any big worries as long as you got enough work coming in and you are in control of your time. You can pick and choose your jobs. You get back to that last point of the contracted consulting thing and the buffer, the 3 to 6 month buffer, plus your retirement accounts that are already established and growing. There's no reason why you can't give yourself a little bit of freedom from the corporate life. The lifestyle. This opens up fun jobs. Working at a winery, guiding fishing trips, part-time museum work, teaching, things you do for free that now cover your groceries and travel. Transition. Calculate your coast number. Retirement goal divided by 1.07 years until retirement. If your current assets meet or exceed that number, you're free to downshift. The catch. Requires honest accounting. Most people overestimate what they need in retirement. They won't commute. You won't commute. Your house might be paid for. Your house might be paid off. Kids are gone. Run the real numbers. Yeah, you're not going to need to live, need as much income to come in if your house is paid for, or even if you got a small mortgage and your kids are out and about on their own. They're not using you as a resource for their own livelihood. It frees up a lot of options. Okay, number 5, lifestyle business acquisition. The concept. Skip the startup phase. Buy an existing, profitable, boring business that generates cash flow from day one. So it's already established. You've already got a customer base. You're just more or less changing owners. You take your capital, you invest it. You're now the new owner. You get the benefit from an established business that's already generating cash. Why it works. You have a business acumen, credit history for loans, and the judgment to evaluate what makes a good business. You also have the stomach for due diligence that younger buyers lack. The mechanics. The SBA loan route. The Small Business Administration guarantees loans up to $5 million with 10 to 15% down. You can buy a business generating $200,000 a year in seller discretionary earnings. You become the owner, not the founder. What to buy? Laundromats, car washers, niche manufacturing, software as service with recurring revenue, content website, or service business with recurring contracts. So I was actually thinking about this, like what would be really good is one of those RV park sites, and you keep it fairly simple. You have your RV park, your recreational vehicle or travel trailer park where people just pull into the stalls. They rent for a number of days, they pull into the stalls. You make sure like all the utilities work, very low maintenance type stuff. There's no buildings or anything, just a nice park. Make sure the grass is cut and it's nice and the trash is picked up. You should be able to do that on your own, depending on the size, of course. But the one thing I like about that is there's going to be a lot of people that you can meet and run into. And so the social aspect is there, and it's seasonal. It's only during the summer months. You can take the rest of the year off, like come fall, like fall, winter, and spring. Spring, you'll probably be back for doing a little bit of prep work for the upcoming season. But fall, you're just shutting things down. Then winter, you're in Costa Rica or Mexico or something like that, doing another type business down there or something like that. The multiple. Small business sell for 2 to 4 times annual earnings. A business making $150,000 a year costs $400,000 to $600,000. Put down $60K, finance the rest, and the business pays its own loan while you get paid a regular salary. Again, you're just throwing your own capital in and letting the business run. Transition. Use a broker. Spend 3 months analyzing deals. Look for owner absentee or semi-absentee businesses where systems already exist. The catch. You buy the problems too. Do thorough due diligence. Hire a lawyer who specializes in asset purchases. Don't fall in love with the business. Fall in love with the numbers. Number 6, remote work, slow travel. Negotiate remote work or find a remote role. Then live as a snowmad rather than a nomad, spending months in each location rather than vacationing. You maintain income while eliminating the cost and contrast of a fixed home base. Why it works at 50. You have the professional credibility to demand remote work. You're past the prove yourself phase. You also appreciate experiences over stuff. Yeah, you're past that keeping up with the Joneses, hopefully by then. The mechanics. The conversation, don't ask, can I work remotely? Ask, I'm considering relocating for family reasons. How can we make remote work a success for the team? Frame it as solving a problem, not asking permission. The slow travel math. Airbnb monthly discounts are 40 to 6% off nightly rates. Stay 3 months in Lisbon, 3 months in Bali, and 3 months in Mexico City. You see the world without the burnout of constant movement. Yeah, because that's a lot of work. Airbnbs are already set up. They're great. I love them. The logistics. Establish a domicile in a no-tax state. Use a mail forwarding service. Traveling mailbox, anytime mailbox. Carry your international health insurance. Work U.S. hours from anywhere with good Wi-Fi. That's if you're into the laptop lifestyle. Trading. Depending where your market is, you know. You have to keep the time difference in mind. The transition. Start with 2 weeks. Start with 2-week workstations to prove productivity, then negotiate 3 months, then permanent remote. The catch, loneliness is real. You need intentional community building, co-worker space, expat meetups, and hobby groups. Also, time zones can be brutal if you're working East Coast hours from Thailand. Yeah, it'll be weird hours. House hacking, the concept. Turn your primary residence into a cash flowing asset that subsidizes or eliminates housing costs. The biggest expense in most budgets. Why it works at 50. You likely have equity in a current home. The credit score for investment personal property loans. The credit score for investment property loans, and the maturity to be landlord or capital to build your ADU. The mechanics. The roommate model. Rent out a spare room. In a 3-bedroom house, rent 2 rooms at $800 per month each. That's $19,200 a year, covering most of your mortgage. The ADU strategy. Build an accessory dwelling unit, granny flat, garage conversion, basement apartment. Cost $50,000 to $150,000. Rent it for $1,500 a month. That's $18,000 a year, often covering your entire house costs, including the renos. Short-term rentals. Rent your home on Airbnb when you travel, or rent a spare room. Many 50-somethings travel 6 months a year and Airbnb their home the other 6, breaking even on housing. I love Airbnb. The multiple family. Buy a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. Live in one unit, rent the others out. Your tenants pay the mortgage and maybe give you cash flow on top. So yeah, basically you're living for free. Your shelter anyway. The transition. Start with what you have. Empty nest, rent the kids' room. Have a garage, convert it. Then scale it to a multifamily property if the bug bites you. The catch. You're a landlord now. Tenants, toilets, and termites. Hire a property manager. 8 to 10% of the rent. If you want the income without the headaches, also check zoning. ADUs aren't legal everywhere yet. ADUs being like the mother-in-law suites, etc. The portfolio career, the concept. Instead of one job with one boss, conduct 3 to 5 micro income streams that together replace your salary. No single point of failure, maximum flexibility. Why it works at 50. You have multiple skills, a network, and the ability to context switch between high-level strategy and execution. You've outgrown the one job model, and that's so true. There are so many different ways to create income and generate money these days. And the one job model isn't secure. Like the company treats you like a number, and they can get rid of you whenever they want. So it's always good to have your own source, and changing that mindset from the corporate overlords to being your own boss and being your own best option is the best way to do it. Provides so much freedom, and you think about your numbers and how your numbers affect you. You dork out about your own numbers rather than the company's numbers, which I think is pretty important. Okay, the mechanics, the stack. Maybe it's 10 hours a week consulting, $5,000 a month, plus a small e-commerce business, $2,000 a month, plus a rental property, $1,000 a month, and a board seat, $3,000 a month. Dividend income, $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a month, not a single employer. That's an excellent way to chunk up your income. So maybe one avenue of income kind of dips down or slows down, or the revenue, your income drops there. You still got the other ones to hold up hold up the pillars, I guess. They'd be like pillars of income. Maybe one drops and one goes up, and everything just evens out, depending on the situation, I guess you could say. The anti-niche. Young people are told to niche down. At 50, you're the niche. You're the guy who knows supply chains and marketing and finance. Sell that intersection. The rhythm. Monday consulting, Tuesday product business, Wednesday board meeting, Thursday off. You design the week. You pick and choose when you can do this stuff. You create your own schedule for things that you have to get done. The transition. Don't quit your job and try to build 5 income streams simultaneously. Build one at a time. Build one at a time. Get to a point where you're comfortable to let it kind of autoplay, where it kind of takes care of itself. It's set up and running, where you just have to do maintenance before you go to another stream to get it built up until it pays enough to replace the portion of your salary. Then replace the next portion. Then leap. Exactly what I just said. The catch. Complexity management. You need systems, calendar blocking, virtual assistants, automation, or you'll drown in context and switching. Yeah, that can be hard. Like that's why it's important to get one already up and running and established before you go on to the next. You want to be focused on the next source of income, the next stream of income, and not have to worry about carry on building the first stream of income up. That just be maintenance, and then it's like plug and play after that to how many streams of income you want. You need system, blah, 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 blah. Also, no paid vacations, no benefits. You must build those costs into your pricing, and that's all on you. Oh, closing segment, the mindset shift. Here's the truth. At 50, you're not too late. You're in the sweet spot. You have the resources, wisdom, and time. Potentially 30, 40 years of healthy life ahead. Maybe. The rat race is designed to keep you running until you're too old, too tired to enjoy the finish line. That's why it's important to kind of set yourself up for this type of transition in your 50s. Like I said, this is the last decade that you're going to be in your young people type energy, right? Where you can be able to go out and still do young people type stuff. Your 60s and 70s, you're slowing down. It's going to be time to slow down, peel back, do more relaxing, and enjoying more leisure time, I guess you could say. Pick one of these, test it, build the escape hatch while you still have the safety of a paycheck, and walk through it. Not into retirement, but into a life of your own design. And that's the way it should be once you leave the corporate world for the rest of your life. A life by your own design. The abundance isn't just financial, it's temporal. Having control of your Tuesday afternoon is worth more than a corner office. Something to think about here. Every day you wait, options disappear. Every move you make now, freedom expands. 8 steps, 1 life, 0 regrets. 0 regrets. What's your first move? So there we have it. I guess it'd be 7 steps because for some reason, step number 3 didn't make the cut. I must have missed that when I was in the making that PowerPoint presentation. I'll have to go back and take a look at what that one was. I thought I had them all in there. Growing pains. Anyway, that'll do it for today. I think a lot of good options there. And the important message to take is if you're in your 50s and you're thinking about leaving your corporate gig, the rat race, you're sick of the 9 to grind and not having the freedom and being able to create your own systems and design a life for yourself. Those things will help out and get your mind going. This is all just a mindset thing, right? You got to change your mindset from 40 years of corporate grinding and the brainwashing that ensues with it, right? In your 50s, a lot of people are probably just tired of that. And sometimes, like I've said before, you don't have a choice. The company decides for you. And then what do you have? The company is not loyal to you. You're just there as a resource until they're done with you. So always make sure you have your exit plan. Make sure you have in your mind a way to help yourself in the event you lose your job, and then eventually retirement, because work careers end. Your work career is going to end at some point. Have something you can step into. Anyway, I'm rambling now. So with that said, I'll cut this episode or shut it down, end it. If you made with me this far, I thank you. Like, comment, and subscribe as usual, and we'll talk to you later.